So I have a lot of random sort of sentimental trinkets around my house, and some of them are more obvious than others as to what they are or why I have them. And I plan on showing some of them off in videos on this channel because they're important items to me and I like talking about them and the stories behind them. But one of the more random things that you would see if you ever were down in my gaming room, you might notice sitting on a desk this little block of aluminum here. This is a 500-gram cylinder block of aluminum. Smooth, polished, and sort of designed for calibration and testing in a lab environment. This would look completely out of place and random in any gaming room, and I could see why. But this actually has a really sentimental sort of story and reason behind why I have it. So when I worked at sort of my first big, I guess you could say, corporate job, although it was a startup at the time, when I got my first big break in my career, it was at a company called 9 Point Medical, which was based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, about 3 blocks from MIT. And when I worked there, I became really good friends with this software engineer who was around the same age as I was. I think he was a little bit younger, named Sam. And we worked together a lot because I was a software QA engineer when I first started there. He was a software engineer, and so he would literally be developing the software that I was testing. So we'd go back and forth a lot on stuff. And we became really good friends, you know, on through other sort of topics as well. Like we were both really into Hunter S. Thompson and Game of Thrones and anime and movies and just like going out and doing stuff around the city. He lived, I want to say, he lived in the Jamaica Plains area. I lived in Alston, so both right around the Boston area. We were about 15 minutes apart by car. And he actually helped me a lot through one of the things that I was trying to accomplish while I lived in the city working at this company. I had sort of ended my relationship. I was in the process of ending my relationship with my then longtime girlfriend. And I wanted to go through a bit of a physical transformation. I wanted to lose a lot of weight and get in better shape. Not having anything to do with the relationship with her. It actually started before that fell apart. But I had been trying different dieting schemes and stuff like that. Nothing was really working. And then I found keto, and that really started to work for me. I was at about 260 pounds at that point. And I'm 6'1", to be clear. And I wasn't very muscular at all, so I was pretty chubby. And this was when I was in my mid-30s, mid-20s, maybe early 20s. And so living in the city, going to work every day, hanging out with Sam, he was really into running. He was a track runner in high school. And so he got me into jogging. I had never done any kind of running in my life. I had always thought I was too heavy for it. I wasn't built for it. I was gonna, be too slow, or I was gonna get winded instantly. And he would go running with me every day at lunch. Like he would go running and he would invite me with him every day, and he would run at whatever pace I was running at, or we would go to a track so we could run at our own pace. And we would do that in Cambridge, in that area of the city, every day or almost every day. And then we would run to one of our favorite shawarma restaurants afterwards, and I would get a big plate of chicken because I was still on keto, and it was working really well. And so he got me into running, and then he also got me into rock climbing. He was big into bouldering, which, if you don't know, is rock climbing without a harness on a lower, more technical wall. There's a lot of like lateral and inverted moves that you have to do when you get into the really advanced stuff. But it's kind of like a different version of rock climbing. It's called bouldering. And he was part of a gym south of Boston, so I joined the gym and he sort of taught me all the basics. And I got super into rock climbing. It was like the most fun physical activity I had ever done, other than maybe the year I played rugby when I was younger. And so through running every day and the diet that I had already put myself on and going rock climbing, which, those two things, running and rock climbing, Sam completely put me onto, I was able to go from 260 pounds to 185 pounds in 6 months. And I felt better than I had ever in my adult life, probably in my teenage years as well. I looked better. I was, wearing medium-sized shirts and like 30-inch pants, which was like the best shape I'd ever been in. And I felt great. I was sleeping great. And of course, at the same time, my relationship was falling apart, so that wasn't great. But I think because of all those things, I was able to get through that end of a relationship with, I'm not a super emotional person. I'm more of a logical person. So I tend to be able to deal with those types of things by compartmentalizing them in a logical way. But aside from that, the fact that I was doing so well physically, I think helped me through that a lot. And I have Sam to thank for pretty much all of that. And so anyways, Sam used to have this sitting on his desk. I don't know why. I'm sure he got it from one of our engineering buddies at the company, but he had this sitting on his desk as kind of a fidget. It was this like heavy thing that you can hold in your hand. It's 500 grams, which I think is about a pound. So it's, misleadingly heavy when you pick it up. It's smooth all the way around. So it's kind of like an early pre-fidget fidget. before fidgets were a thing. This was probably in like 2012 or 13. And I think Sam ended up either leaving the company or getting let go when we downsized at one point, which sucked. And we hung out outside at work a lot. Like I had gone to cookouts at his house. We would go to bars around the city. But after that, our company ended up moving to Bedford, Massachusetts, which is way outside the city. It's unfortunately what happens with many medical startups that start in the city and then move out of the city for cheaper real estate and cheaper production and manufacturing. And so from there, me and Sam kind of lost touch, which was unfortunate. I think we're friends on Facebook, or at least I could find him on Facebook. I know his full name and everything. And I would love to reconnect with him because we were really great friends, and I feel like we still would be. Because I think a lot of the things that we agreed on were pretty like root fundamental things. And even though I've changed a lot in my politics and my sort of faith and my view of the world, I feel like he and I would still be able to get along and be friends. But when he left the company, I can't remember if he either put this on my desk or I went over to his desk and grabbed it before they cleared off the rest of his stuff. But this was always sitting on his desk and he would play with it. And then it sat on my desk after he left for, I want to say, the next 6 years before that company entirely shut down in 2020, just before COVID started. Completely unrelated to COVID. It was a business finances thing. We got screwed out of a buyout option and basically ended up broke overnight. And so the company went from fully functional, 100 employees, multiple, over 100 consoles around the world, a place that many of us had worked for almost a decade. We left Friday. We came in Monday morning, or we jumped on a video call Monday morning. We were told not to come in. And the video call was the CEO and the CFO telling us, we're very sorry, but the company is done. You can come in later today or tomorrow to clear off your desks, and then the doors will be locked, and that's it. So it was very sudden, very unexpected, difficult, I'm sure, for a lot of people. It sucked for me because a lot of those people I had worked with for, almost a decade. Some of them I would love to get in touch with again and like go out and have dinner or see how they're doing or whatever. I should probably make an effort to do that on Facebook or something, or through LinkedIn. But yeah, so this was Sam's little random weight that sat on his desk, and then it sat on my desk for another 6 years after he left. And then when the company went under, I grabbed it off my desk and brought it home because I was like, this is mine. Why does this need to stay here in this soon to be abandoned office building sitting on a desk when it has so much sentimental value to me? And it reminds me of Sam and my relationship that I had with him and our friendship and, that sort of window of my life where I went through all of that change when I was living in the city, working in the city. It was a very unique time in my life. I met my wife shortly after that, and I moved back home, and then her and I got engaged and married, and we bought our house. And then, a year or two after we bought our house and I had started my family, we had my son, that company shut down. And so I have this, which is this thing that sat on my desk, that sat on Sam's desk before mine from that entire window of my life that I now have at my house. And I have a couple other things that I might show off similar to this, either from that company that were random trinkets from different employees that I was friends with, or, just other times in my life, things that I have that are like this. But this is probably the most random one because it's just a chunk of aluminum. But it means a lot to me because of when I got it and where it was before I had it, who had it, and the window of time that it used to be an everyday item for me. And now it just sits on a shelf in my basement. And every now and then I pick it up and play with it, or somebody picks it up and goes, "What's this?" And I just go, it's complicated. I can't explain exactly in a brief statement, but it's important to me. That's why I have it. Anyways, just wanted to show this off to you guys. I love talking about little random things like this when I have the time, when I can. And I have lots of other things like this, so I'll probably make more videos like this. But I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.